Requirement 4 gives you a choice between three options. I'll talk a little about each of these three topics. In Requirement 1, you should have watched a video about the Industrial Revolution, the story of business in America and the world for that matter. Transitioning from a small farm, craftsmanship, and shopkeeper economy to one dominated by large business enterprises is an important story. Part of that story is the struggle between those who created the industries and those they employed to work in their factories. There is no doubt many of the early day employers abused their workers with long hours, low pay, and deplorable working conditions. There was even a major problem with how they employed children in their workforce at lower pay and worse working conditions. Now, some of the smarter business people always understood that their workers and employees are the greatest assets they have, while others thought of their workers as simply another resource to be used up and discarded when they were no longer of value to the employer. That realization is even more true today, when the workers have greater skills both technically and as craftsmen. Eventually, those workers who were most abused by their employers started to organize into small groups to confront their employers. Those small groups became affiliated into labor councils, guilds, and unions. Some of these groups were organized around a single employer, like the Ford Motor Company, or around an industry like the United Auto Workers. After labor unions were organized, the primary tool they had to force their employers to negotiate with them for better wages, benefits, and working conditions was to not show up for work. If all the employees walked out of the workplace, they called it a strike. Labor union strikes were not always welcomed by the employers, and they often ended in violent confrontations. On some occasions, the employers would not let their employees come out to work, and that was called a lockout. Sometimes the employers viewed a strike as an opportunity to replace employees with machines in an effort to move toward automation. Machines don't go on strike, they don't get sick, and they never demand better working hours. The U.S. government and many states decided these confrontations were not in the best interest of their citizens. To deal with the violence, the U.S. government created the National Labor Relations Board to oversee the creation and operation of unions. The Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service to facilitate collective bargaining and the resolution of disputes. The Bureau of Labor Statistics to make sure everyone was using the same information for bargaining, and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to protect all workers from unsafe or unhealthy working conditions. Many states created organizations or parts of government that duplicated these services in their particular state. Some of the employees organized around a specific trade or a craft. These were extensions of the craft guilds that were part of the economy before the Industrial Revolution. Many of these workers are in construction industry and may work for dozens of employers on numerous building projects over the course of their lifetime. Being a member of the carpenters, plumbers, electricians, or steelworkers union gives them the ability to create safer working conditions, health, and they get retirement benefits. The unions are also involved in training new craftsmen for their employers. Labor unions have grown to be as big and complicated as the business they were organized to deal with. At the lowest level are the shop stewards, who are employees of the company and work alongside the other members of the union. They are the local representative of the union. Labor unions are managed by business agents under the direction of the union president, sometimes called a union boss, and the board of directors of the union. The board of directors are elected by the members of the union. They also employ union counselors to organize unions and to recruit members. Not every business has a labor union, and some that do are what are called open shops because not everyone chooses to join the union. Just like the ongoing battle between employers and employees, not everyone agrees that the labor unions are agents for good in the American economy. There was a time when they were necessary and needed to correct an imbalance in the economy, but some feel that their usefulness may be a part of our history and not our future. Most business enterprises today realize the value and importance of their employees. Those who don't may be overlooking a great competitive advantage. Now that we've talked about these, take some time to fill out the workbook for this merit badge.